think recruiters should take maybe a more white glove approach when dealing with referrals? Like, or should they kind of treat it like every other candidate in the pipeline? How do you kind of gauge that? I've seen kind of both sides of the coin before.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'd say like yes and no. Like in theory, all your candidates should be getting some sort of white glove treatment. In practice, that's not what always happens, right? Like sometimes, communication may not go super well, and you try to minimize those cases. But if you had to choose where you're dropping the ball, you probably wouldn't want to drop the ball on candidates who are referred. So I'd say they deserve like extra attention. But in general, they should get, the white glove treatment, but so should anyone else who expresses interest in your company. But sometimes there's just practical considerations, right? Like there might be too many people applying, and there's ways to mitigate that and make sure anyone who applies gets some response, or set expectations that not everyone who, but in general, no one who wants to work at your company should have a bad experience, because that just has, well, it's not a nice thing to do, but it also has a lot of like downstream ramifications. Because companies, when we talk about referrals, we're usually talking about existing employees referring candidates. But a lot of times it's candidates who refer other candidates. And even if you don't have a formal program for that, well, I've seen some companies that do set that up. I'd say it's a little more rare. It does happen. It's like any product. There's always word of mouth and people telling other people like, oh, I interviewed at this company, but either I didn't get an offer, or I got the offer and I turned it down. But like, it's awesome. You would love it there. You should probably apply. Or the inverse of that, like I interviewed there and then the recruiter ghosted me, or the hiring manager like was, not pleasant to talk to, or whatever the situation is. And then that like deters other people from applying in the future.